Hi, this is Mike from Dimensional Walking. Today, the video I'm going to title it Year 2100, Our Existence, and the number 1015. So, let me explain. So, 12 years ago, during the last 12 years, CO2 levels on Earth have increased by 7%, and that is a fact. Okay? Many people try to debate almost anything about global warming, but it is a fact. It has increased 7% in only 12 years. That's pretty incredible. So what I did is I compounded that 7% out to the year 2100. And the magic number, I wouldn't want to call it magical, maybe dangerous, is 1015. Okay? So that's what the year 2100 would look like. So let me tell you what that's going to mean. In my estimation and scientists' estimation, there will be a great temperature surge that, of course, has already started, but it's going to continue and it's going to accelerate. And that would mean that by 2100, the Earth would be 5 degrees Celsius or 9 degrees Fahrenheit higher than it was in the pre-industrial period. Okay? That far exceeds the Paris Agreement, which had this ambitious goal no more than a 1.5 increase by the year 2100. Okay? That's pretty incredible. So the polar regions would experience significant amplified warming, leading to an accelerated ice melt in the Arctic, in Antarctica, and in Greenland. The loss of reflective ice cover would further exacerbate warming in the dangerous feedback loop. Okay? Ocean heat waves. Marine heat wave period of prolonged and extreme ocean temperatures would become more frequent and intense. These events will devastate marine ecosystems, leading to mass coral bleaching, fish die-outs, and disruption of the global food chain. Then we'll have disturbing water cycles and extreme events. There will be increased evaporation, higher temperatures with increased evaporation rate, leading to more intense droughts in many regions. Altered precipitation patterns. Rainfall patterns would become increasingly erratic. Some regions would experience more frequent and intense rainfall, leading to increased flooding, while others would face severe and prolonged droughts. This is exactly what's already started all over the world. Intensified storms. Warmer oceans provide more energy for hurricanes and typhoons, leading to more powerful and destructive storms. And I think that's just starting. I don't think we've seen that yet. I think that eventually in the next few years, they're going to create a category called Category 6 hurricanes. Okay, there's only goes up to 5. I think they're going to go to 6, and who knows beyond that. Okay, agriculture collapse and industrial insecurity. Okay, crop failures, raising temperatures, alter rainfall patterns, and increased droughts will severely impact crop yields. Many regions will experience significant declines in agricultural productivity, leading to widespread food shortages. Livestock impacts. Heat stress will significantly impact livestock, leading to reduced productivity, increased mortality, and decreased meat and dairy production. Decreased meat and dairy production. Global food systems disruption. The combination of crop failures, livestock losses, and disturbed supply chains will lead to the severe global food shortages, potentially triggering widespread famine and starvation and social unrest. Social unrest, starvation. Those are going to be a really big problem, I believe. Human health impacts. Extreme heat waves will increase the risk of heart-related illness, heat-related illness, deaths, and particularly among the vulnerable populations. Respiratory problems. Increased air pollution, will be exacerbated by wildfires and other environmental changes, will increase respiratory illnesses such as asthma, chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases. Disease outbreaks. Changing environmental conditions will increase the spread of infectious diseases, including vector-borne diseases such as malaria and dengue fever. Social and economic disruptions. Mass displacement and migration. Climate-induced disasters and environment degradation will force millions of people to flee their homes, leading to mass migration and increased competition for resources. Global economic instability. The impacts of global change on agriculture, infrastructure, and human health would have devastating economic consequences. Global economies are likely to experience significant disruptions leading to increased poverty and inequality. Geopolitical instability. Climate change related impacts such as resource scarcity, mass migration, and increased conflict will destabilize governments and lead to increased geopolitical tensions. Okay, so here's some of the unpredictable tipping points. Permafrost thawing. The thawing of permafrost will release vast amounts of methane, a potential greenhouse gas, further accelerating global warming. I think that's already started. I think that's absolutely started already. Amazon rainforest collapse. The Amazon rainforest plays a critical role in carbon uh, recycling. Continued deforestation and climate change will push the Amazon forest past its tipping point, leading to a collapse and the release of large amounts of stored carbon. The weakening of the Gulf Stream. The weakening of the Gulf Stream, a major ocean current, could have significant impacts on global climate patterns, including more extreme weather events in Europe. Important, and here we come to I guess, the action part of this, okay? A 1,000 parts per million CO2 world is a stark reminder of urgent need for immediate and dynamic action to mitigate climate change. This includes rapid decarbonization of the global economy, transitioning to renewable energy sources, improving energy efficiency, and electrifying transportation, protecting and restoring natural ecosystems, protecting forests, restoring degraded lands, and implementing sustainable land use practices. Next, developing and deploying uh, climate resistant technology, investing in research and development of technologies such as carbon capture and storage, geoengineering with careful consideration for potential risks, and climate resilient agriculture. Promoting international cooperation, strengthening international cooperation to address the climate challenges and climate changes, including financial, climate mitigation, and adaptation effects in the developing countries of the world. Okay? CO2 levels of 1,000 parts per million would represent a planetary emergency with potentially catastrophic circumstances for the human civilization in the natural world. While the exact impacts are difficult to predict with certainty, it is clear that such a scenario would lead to a significantly altered and likely less habitable planet. This is a simplified overview of the impacts of CO2 at 1,000 parts per million. The actual consequences could be even more severe and unpredictable. It is critical to remember that the current trajectory of greenhouse gases emissions is unsustainable, and urgent and drastic action is needed to mitigate climate change and prevent the worst case scenarios from unfolding. The future of our planet depends on our ability to take bold and decisive action to address climate crisis. While a 1,000 part per million CO2 world represents the worst case scenario, The path towards the future is not inevitable. By acting now, we can mitigate the worst impacts of climate change and create a more sustainable future for us all. Um, and I just have a little side comment thinking about our billionaires. Maybe that's the reason they want to go to Mars. But the interesting thing about that is, I believe that about 250,000 years ago, that's probably what happened to Mars. A very similar scenario. And of course, eventually Mars lost its atmosphere completely. It doesn't even really have much of an atmosphere. But anyways, we got some big problems coming up. We got to all wake everybody up very quickly because I think that the clock is ticking. And if we even get close to 1,000, even if we get to 800, it's not going to be pretty at the end of the century. It's starting to get kind of ugly now, and we're still at 421 parts per million. So hopefully this will be a wake up call. And I know there aren't going to be many people that will watch this video. I know there's other people out there raising the red flags and starting to get kind of crazy, waving really rapidly. And I'm one of them. And I periodically will keep on looking at what the parts per million is in the atmosphere and probably repeat the same thing over and over again. Maybe with some good news. Who knows? We'll see. Okay, we'll see. Bye bye.